Good everyone, and welcome back to our project. So today we'll be talking about data type, variables, and basic operators. Our goals of doing this today is to understand how Python stores and work with data. The reason of doing this is variables and operators are how computers stores and manipulates information. Before you can do this, I want to believe that we have already downloaded and installed Python and VS Code. So this is my VS Code environment after I've already installed it. So if you are looking for a way of installing Python, you can go to python.org, download it and install it. And again, if you want to install IDE, you can go to their website. Just type in your browser code.visualstudio.com. Download it also, then you now install it. So let's get to work. Before we can start our today's work, we need to create a file. A file is saving our first program. So how do we save? If your VS Code environment is showing like this, you can go to new file. But if it's not showing like this, you can go to file and then click on new files. So I will click on new files. So it's asking me to type the name of the file. I can call it first Abi. I can call it under let me say underscore. Oh, this thing. Let me just say project. First project together. The initial letter to be capital letter so that it will be easy for me to read. First project. So I've saved the work as first project. Now I will hit enter so that it will load the directories. So it's telling me where do I want to save this first project. So I will want to save on the desktop. So I will select desktop, then I will put my file extension, that is to .py. Why am I putting .py? Is because I'm running Python program. If it's the HTML, I will save it as .html so that my computer will recognize it as a Python code. So I will click on save. So the environment is loading already. So what do I need to do now? We want to store and we want to know the data types and basic operators. So let's start with variables. What is variables? Variables, they are storage in code. That is what we use in storing some values. We use it to store text and we use it to store numbers. We usually use it to store boolean. So a variable is not something that is permanent, something that can change at any time. I can decide to store something, then at the end of the day I can decide to remove it and store something. So in Python, how do we create a variables? For example, let's use this thing as a variable name. We give equal to double quote John. So this particular variable that we create now, it is called a string of variable. Anything that we put inside a quote, when we when we print it or we run it, it will be display the way it is. And again, there's something we call int. Int is an integer, and we use it to store numbers. We just save numbers inside it. But instead of me to write int, I want the computer to recognize it by itself. I will just write age equal to 25. So the system, we know that we are passing 25, and 25 is a string number. So that makes me to go to the data types. Data types is a way of the computer used to recognize the kind of data we are passing to our variables. So this particular two example I've given now is showing that the first one is a string, that is a text. So anytime you want to show a text, you put it in a quote, then it will become a string. Then the second one is an integer. So let's talk about float. Float are decimal. So anytime you are passing any value that is having dot, then we can call it a float. So if I pass 19.9 inside this thing now, the system will recognize it as a float. Then the other one that we'll be talking about now is the Boolean aspect. So let's, for example, we are writing something like this. Is maybe sold, and I pass equal to true. So this particular code now, the system will be recognizing it as Boolean because we pass true. And at the same time, if we pass false, the computer also will recognize it as a Boolean. So this is the way Python program recognizes its own data types, unlike some other programming language that you need to be putting int, float, or if you want to write string, now you need to put str so that the system will recognize it as str. So, but now we don't need to be putting it since we are working on Python. So that's why Python is more easier to use. So we have talked about the data type, we have talked about variables. So let me just identify it on the screen for you so that you can know the difference between the data types and the variables. Initially, this particular code, we're supposed to write it int name. Then we'll now store our values inside it. This particular thing now, this is how the code supposed to be written. But Python does not recognize it's not that it doesn't recognize int, but it doesn't make use of it, so that it will be very fast for us to write. So it's giving us error because we have already having one name before, so I can just say name1 so that the error will be removed. Let me say so I think it's because of this variable that we create. So that's why it's giving us something like that. It's because we use int and we are passing what is it called? And we are passing character. So it's supposed to be string. So we are giving a wrong data type. So when we say string, you see it will not be giving us error again. So strings, string name. So what is this still giving us error? Statement must be separated by new lines or semicolon. Okay, saying we should separate it by semicolon. Let me create int and see int number equal to 10. Oh, okay, it doesn't accept this, so let's clean it and see. So in Python, we just work directly by using the variable name and the values. So the system will help us to categorize it under integer, under float, under boolean. So this particular first code now, this particular first variable is int, is string, because we pass string inside it. The second one is having value, so definitely it is int. This second one, it is float because of the point, and the other one is carrying through, that is the float. So let's move on to basic operators. Basic operators, we normally have operators in maths. Definitely also we do little maths, or we even do maths also in programming. So our operators still remain as a plus sign. We have plus sign, we have minus sign, we have plus sign, we have asterisk. Asterisk is multiplication. We have division, that is forward slash. We have modulus, this one. We have equality, so that is a double equal to. Then we have not equal to. This kind of exclamation mark, we call it not. That's not equal to. Then we have greater than, we have less than. So these are the kind of operator we normally use in Python. So I believe you are seeing the screen. Let me increase the view of the screen. Let's say plus. Okay, I hope we are all seeing the screen now. So let's go with an example of how to use this kind of operator. For example, we are having this code. Hope you have this example of operator down. So for example, we are having this kind of code, maybe total. We just have something like total equal to 10 plus 5. So if we are printing this particular something now, it should give us 15 because of the operators that we use. So that is how it works. So with this, we have created a variable with the data type number or integer, because we pass numbers inside it. And then I believe we have understood the way I create and initialize and pass value into our variables and how we can use them. So if we want to display this particular something now, you can just say print total. So only total will be printed. Why is it going to print total? Because we have already stored some value inside it. So let's run it and see it. So we go to our terminal. We go to terminal, new terminal. We have two ways we can run it. Is either we go to terminal under the VS Code, or we go to our CMD to run it. So our terminal under VS Code is ready. So how do we run our code now? How do we run it? How do we see the result? Whether we are saying the truth that total is equal to 10 plus 5 to give us the total number of 15. So what we will do is that you write Python, because you are running Python code. So you write Python, give space. Then you now call the name of the file that you saved your code with, that is first project.py. You write it also the same way you save it, first project.py. After you have written it, then you run it. But unfortunately, we are not in the directories. We need to go into the desktop directory, because our first project.py is saved under desktop. I just remember. But if you notice now, we are seeing this file directory, that is, we are in the memory and inside the users folder, and this users folder is having a C book folder. So we want to go into desktop folder. How do we do that? We say cd desktop. So the computer will remember that, oh, this person wants to do something under the desktop. Then you enter it, you click on your enter. Now we are already in the desktop folder. So now we are good to run this code. So we write our Python, because we are running from Python. Then we write the name of the file, first project. You write it together the way we have written it before, .py. Then you enter. So what is he saying? He's saying error 2, no such file. Yes, no such file, because we have not saved this code that we have just written. So let's click on save and run it again. So let's run it again. Python.firstproject.py. So it's still not working. It's saying error 2, number 2. Okay, no such file directories. I want to remember whether we save on desktop, but if you have not saved on desktop, let me save on desktop again. Okay, save. I'm looking for save. Okay, save as first project. We are under Python. I'll click on desktop, then save. It's there. I don't know. Okay, now let's remove all these things so that we can have only one single code. Then I save it again. Then I run it again. First project. Oh, sorry. This first project, I did not spell it well. So you see the small error that we are having. I need to spell them well. Let me clear the code first. That's CLS. Okay, sorry. Then we are going to run it Python. See the name very well. First project .py. Then we enter. So it will run now. So you see our answer is displaying 15, because we said 10 plus 5, and ordinarily we know that 10.5 is 15. So we now store the value, that whatever value you get from this operation, store it under this total. That is why we are calling the name of the total. We don't need to be calling the values. We call the name of the totals, because if you want to know the quality of a person, you don't call the quality itself. You cannot just say interest. Maybe the person is honest, the person is you don't call the honest, but you call the name of the person that is having that quality. So this particular total now is having the quality of 10.5. That is why we are calling the name of the total. I hope you understand this. So let me run another one so that I will give you exercise on this particular one. Okay, let me just give you the total summary of what we have done. The first thing we did is that we create a name string. That's a equal to name equal to maybe Rahim. That's name string. Then I create age. That's let's say 15. It's a number. I don't need to put quote. Then let's say height. Height normally come with float. So I'll save it as 67.9. So we have already created some of these things. So how do we print them out? How do we print? So I want to print name, I want to print age, I want to print I score. So what should I do now? Just say print statement. Instead of me to be printing Rahim, to be printing 15, to be printing 67.9, we'll just call the name I save my variables with. I save under name, I will call name, I'll put comma. I save under age, I will call age. I save under height, I will call height. So this is how it works. If you don't spell it well, it will not run very well. You have to call whatever you use to store your variables. So after you have already done this, you save your code so that when you are running it, it will not be giving you error. So I will run the code now. Python first project.py. I will enter. So you see it is printing Rahim 1567.9. What about if I want it to be more meaningful, that Rahim is 15 years old and he has 67.9 height. So instead of me to write more codes inside my print statement, I will just put something called double quote, because whatever you put in your double quote, it will display the way you write it inside it. So I will now say my name is, I'll put comma, then I want it to display the name. So if my code is coming out now, I will now say my name is, the value I store under this name, which is Rahim, it will now say my name is Rahim. Then I'll put comma again, then I'll put another quote. I'll now say I am, that is I am 15. That is I call on the age. I put comma. Then I want to put yes. Yes, I am 15 years old. So after I've already created this, then what is next? I want to say my height is so. I'll put quote also. I'll now say my height is so. So now let me run this and you see the difference between the first one that we run. The first one doesn't have meaning, it's just displaying Rahim 15, 16, 67.9. So let me run it again. Let me cancel this. I want to clean this code so that we have a fresh code. So I will now just write Python first project.py. Then I will click on run. So you see it now. It's more meaningful like this. My name is Rahim. I am 15 years old. My height is 67.9. Remember, what is giving us this write-up is because I put it inside code. If I did not put it inside code, we have to be expecting errors. So, having said that, we have learned how to store a value inside our variable. We have different data types, and we have already mentioned that, which are the strings, the numbers, and the float, and the boolean. And we have also printed some of those things. So my task for you, after you have already watched to this level, is to what? Create a Python file. Help me create a Python file. When you create a Python file, you call it details. Details.py. Details.py. So after you create details.py, you now create three variables. Three variables that you call name. You store a string inside that name. I believe you know what is string. Anything you put on the quote, that is what we mean by string. Then you create another variable, that's integer variable, call it age. That is any number that is not decimal, it is called integer. Then you create another variable which is height. Height, like the way I did my own height, I pass a float number inside so that it can be treated like a float by Python program. So after everything, you have to print all of them. You print all of them. So I'm expecting you to get a result like, maybe for example, my name. After you have already, I'm expecting you to say name equal to Sarah in quote, then age equal to 22, for example, then height should be equal to 5.4. Then you print name, you print age, you print height. You can print these things separately by saying print name, print age, and print height. I hope you are enjoying this wonderful class. Today we were able to cover data type, variables, values, and a print statement. And so we are still going to continue with this one, then we call it a day. So let's talk about conditions and loop statement. Conditions and loops statement. This particular condition and loop statement, they are a little bit different. This particular one, we make decision and then repeat action in Python. We make decision and repeat Python's actions. So condition lets your program make decisions, and loops helps it do tasks repeatedly without writing the same code many times. So when you have one code, you can easily call it and then rerun when you are dealing with loops. And when you are talking about conditional statement, you can use it to predict something. So for example, let's use if statement as an example. For example, in our country now, we people believe that we are adults. We are adults, especially when we are 18. And maybe you are asked to create any program that will detect whether you are adult or you are not adult. Then you are going to be using if statement because it is a condition. So for example, let's use this one. We have already know that our age supposed to be 18 if we want to be adult. Then now I want to know whether this particular person is 18 or not. How do I write the condition statement? I will say if, because I'm supposed to say age equal to 18. Then I will now say if age is equal to, if age, let's say if age is equal to or let's say if age is greater than or equal to 18, if it's greater than or equal to 18, we can say the person is adult, right? So if age is greater than or equal to 18, so what should we do? Anytime you are creating if statement, you have to put colon at the end of the first line. If age is greater than or equal to 18, you enter. Then what do you want to do? I want to say print. Please be note of the indent. Your indent supposed to be like this. That print not supposed to go back if you want to obey the rules of if statement. It must be indent. That means one paragraph after the first line of your code. So print, what are we printing? I want to say print you are an adult. Remember, I have to put it in quotes because I want it to display. You are an adult. So this is how we run Python if statement. But if this particular person is not an adult, how do we now write? S S S S print you are minor. That means if you are not an adult and I want my system to tell me whether this person is an adult or not. So if you are not an adult, then I want you to print you are minor. You are a minor. So this particular code now is very good when we are dealing with condition. I want to test whether this one is true or the other one is true. That is how if statement works. So let's run this code and see the output. Say clear. And remember, we have already passed age to be 18. So this particular code now is supposed to print you are an adult. So let's save our work first. Don't forget to save your work. Python first project.py. So you see, you are an adult because the condition that is under here obeys the age. The condition that we give here obeys the age. What about if you pass 16? Let's pass 16 and see. Save your work. Now say Python project.run. You see, you are an it's not saving. Sorry, I went to change the condition. I'm supposed to change the values. So let me just say 17. Python first project.py. So this particular one now supposed to say, you are a minor. So this is how you write a conditional statement to test two options. So the next one we are going to be talking at now, we are going to be talking about loops. We don't have time to be wasting. We are just moving. I hope you understand the if statement. If you don't understand the if statement, just comment, then I will do more video on that. So let's go to loop. We have already said that whenever we want to repeat something, we make use of loops. We have for loops and we have while loops. So let's look at the example that we have. Let's, for example, I want to write 1 to 5 using code. How do I do it? That means I want to be repeating one. I want to be iterating. That is from the small to the big. So how will I do it? Let me just say, for example, this code. If you want to write a for loop, The keyword to write a for loop is for. Then you provide a variable that you will be printing, that for num, or you can say for list number, for list num. So I want to be iterating like 5 times in the range of 5, in the range of, because I want to repeat it 5 times, in the range of 5. So then if you are writing for loop, also remember to be putting this colon at the back, 2 colon, that's colon. Then what do I want to do? And again, for loop always have index 2. So, but if you are using your VS Code, it will be giving you an indent directly. So I will now say print, I'm printing the variable. This is my variable list number in the range of 5. So print list num. So that list num can be anything because it's a variable, but don't give space because a variable does not allow space. So after you have already finished this, save your work, then let's run it. Then you can just simply run it. You see it's counting from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how many values? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is how for loops work. Then we have another one, which is the while loop. The difference between while loop and for loop is the way the compiler compiles it. And then we have a small added code here. So let's run the while loop. So if you are running a while loop, instead of us to be having our variable like this, we first declare our variable first before we start even writing the while loop syntax. So I will write, for example, I want to count from 0 to 4 the same way like this. So I will save my count. I want it to start from 0, count from 0. Then I've already stored 0 inside my count. Then I want to use my while loop to repeat. So I will write my while loop key statement. Then inside the while loop, there is condition that follows it. Why this particular count, that means that is y is 0. Instead of me to say 0, I will call the name of the variable names. Y count is less than, if the count is less than 5, then what do I want to do with it? I want to print the count, so that when the count is less than 5, it will print 0. If it's less than 5 again, it will go back to, it will go again, because we are doing it 5 times. If it go in the first time, it will check whether 0 is less than 5. If it's less than 5, it will print 0. It will go again. That 0 has increased to 1. It will go again and check if 1 is less than 5. It will print 1. The 1 has increased to 2. It will go again, and that's the way the while loops normally works. So I said print count. So after you print count, I want you to iterate count plus equal to, I want you to iterate by 1. So after you print the count 0, help me and add this 1 to my count value. That means 1 plus 0, it will be 1. Then it will run again. That y count is less than 5. That means this one has already changed to 1. Y 1 is less than 5. Print count. It will now print 1. Then this count now will now add to the one that is here again. It will now be 2. It will now say y 2 is less than 5. Meanwhile, the 2 is less than 5. So that is how it will be iterating till it meets the condition that we give. So if it is now 5 less than 5, it will now stop looping. So this particular code, we normally use it when we are dealing with counting at a stopwatch. So you set your stopwatch to so time. Immediately you reach that time, it will stop, right? So that is how this one works too. So let's run this code so that we can call it a day. So I'll write Python firstproject.py. Now we see it too, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The same way we run our for loop, that's the same way we run our while loop. Hope you understand this. If you have any question, you can please chat me up and let's discuss lecture. So we have done conditional statements and we have already done loops. So my exercise under this is to, if you are able to watch up to this level, is to, under the if else statement, I want you to ask the user for their age. Then if the age is 18 or more, print you can vote. But if the age is not 18 or more, I want you to print you cannot vote. That is what I have explained before. Then under the loop, I want you to print number from 1 to 5 using the for loops. That is what I first did. But this particular one now is 1 to 5. So instead of you using in the range of 5, then you put in the range of 6, so that you start from. But this time around is even starting. This time around you are starting from 1. So definitely you should have your variable safe. That is, you can have your variable as maybe the variable that you save inside can be 1. Then you print in the range of 5. That means it will be starting from 1 to 5. I hope you're enjoying this class. Next class we'll be talking about function and modules. I want you to finish up the practical, then you read more about functions and modules so that you get familiar to what we are saying. So I want to believe you enjoying the class. If you want more videos like